Kate Upton, Michelin stars. Car for high school kid. All right, let's see this. Hey there, Billy Bronco. Hey, well, how about those new Broncos that are coming back, huh? Those look sweet. I worked in a garage during summers of high school and college. Not only do you see what cars aren't shit under the hood. Wait, I worked in cars. I just literally went to the fantasy of buying one of those Broncos. And the fantasy included my wife saying, absolutely, Bill, get one. You know what I actually tried to talk her into was letting me buy one of those old GMC RVs from the 1970s into the 80s. And I wanted it in that Palm Desert green. And I was going to have the dude who built my truck make this fucking thing. I was actually considering have it be all electric and then hiring a driver. And whenever I had a fucking road gig, I just had that thing driving around. I'd fly to where it was and do a run of gigs. And we would just be in there and we'd have a fucking humidor and a fridge for some ice cold beer. And I'd put on fucking 9 million pounds. And my wife was just like, no, yeah, you're not doing that. And I was just like, okay. And it's good. Because I swear to God, if she didn't, I would have the shit that I would have. You know what I mean? I would argue that I would have one of the weirdest fucking car collections ever. Because I would own one of those. I like station wagons. I'd have one of those fucking Mercedes-Benz AMG fucking station wagons. You know what? One of these days, I'll give you like my top 10 fucking cars. Because I really got to sit down and think about it. I like those GM, remember, look up GM, General Motors Parade of Progress. And look at those, what the fuck was that thing called? Just look that up. Whatever that vehicle was called. It was like a fucking living room and a bus all at the same time. It had a spiral staircase that you walked up. The Parade of Progress. Check that thing out. Anyways, plowing ahead here. Let me finish reading this thing here. Not only do you see what I would have stretch limos from the 1950s. I have a 1955 Chrysler Imperial stretch limo, or maybe one of those ones that like John Lennon and Elvis had and world leaders had that was made by Mercedes. The 1960s, that really boxy looking one. Yeah, all weird shit. I wouldn't have a Shelby Mustang and a fucking Hemi this and a Hemi that. Fuck all that. That's all baby boomer shit. I have no interest in any of that stuff. I like that fucking weird shit. I like those Nash. I like that fucking BMW that had like 3 wheels and the whole front of the car would open up. He had to move out the steering wheel. I don't all shit like that. Now, there's got to be somebody out there with a car collection like that you can tell me where I can go look at all those cars, because I love all of that shit, man. All right. My advice for the kid who wanted to buy the car. All right, let's start over. I worked in a garage during summers of high school and college. Not only do you see what cars aren't shit under the hood, but also cars that look lame real fast. My advice for that kid is to get something with low mileage from the 90s. Jeeps, lightweight pickups, and anything you can find parts for, and anything where you open the hood and the parts are identifiable. Don't get a Dodge Neon or a shitbox. Find something that looks new inside and out. Get the oil changed every 3,000 miles and have it as long as you want it. There you go. I used to do that. That's one of the big things, changing points when I was a kid, was I learned how to change the oil in the car, which is really simple, but it's huge. I would do it every 2,500 miles. I remember being in back east and be freezing fucking cold out, and you had to do that thing where, I tried it the first time when the engine was ice cold and the oil was coming out like syrup, so you'd have to start the car up, let it run a little bit where you'd heat it up, but not too much where all of a sudden then it'd be fucking hot. But even then, that wasn't bad. You just go inside for like fucking a half hour. And I had a little place down by the firehouse that used to take the recycled oil, and I'd come down there, I'd dump the shit in there. It was fucking beautiful. I learned how to change the fuel filter. Air filter is one of the easiest things. Fuel filter, Got a grease gun, the lube job, all that, so you didn't get all the squeaks and all that shit. Just basic maintenance like that, and then I would bring it in. I never learned how to adjust a carburetor. I always got nervous with that shit, and I would just, I do all that. However, one time I got impatient taking a fuel filter off, and I snapped it off of the fucking fuel line, so then I had to get it towed over there. And I told the guy over there what I did, and he said I didn't communicate it right, and I had the fuel filter sitting on the bench seat, and he went out there to start it up, and gas went all over the fucking engine, and we had a fucking engine fire. That's what he said. We had a fire. I was like, no, dude, you had a fucking fire. And then he fucking yelled at me and shit, and like I was going to sue him. He goes, look, I'm not going to start fucking doing a bunch of work on a goddamn car with 100-something thousand fucking miles on it. And just yelling at me. I remember looking at the guy like, dude, I've been bringing my fucking car over here forever. This is how you're going to treat me? I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole, but I didn't know how to say that to him. So I remember my dad told me, he goes, you go down there and you make sure you pay. So there's a record that your car was there. And sure enough, I went down there and the guy said, no charge. I said, no, I'll pay for it. And he gave me a look because he knew that I knew what the fuck he was doing. And that's the last time I brought my car over there. Had it fixed somewhere else. And long story short, at one point I had an engine fire. And it fucking burned down to the ground. But that was years later. That was my first vehicle too. 83 Ford Ranger. Anyways, to be honest, the insecurity never came. Wait a sec. Oh, it's a different fucking email. Oh, okay. So that's that guy's suggestion. Anyways.